All right, shalom to the whole full elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yahushua,
Yahweh
Bahashem,
Shai,
Makakadash,
Kodesh.
the honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Motion who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity, and peace and mercy to the whole full elect. All right, starting with 144,000. Let's push this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth and the rest of the 1/3. So, in today's class, it's going to be another edition of Doomsday Prophecies. And the topics that we're going to be touching up on is, or going into, is the cruel Lord and the American nightmare approaches. All right. A lot of people are, or a lot of people are talking about these April 2nd, as Trump coined it Liberation Day. And Liberation Day is just another form of calling independence. Now, I find it spiritual that you said Liberation Day because, liberty goes into being free. But what's happening is America is being freed of all their so-called allies, and basically the nations are liberating themselves from America. And that's really prophecy. Scriptures go into how these nations are basically going to bound together and do their own thing, but they're all going to basically cut their ties with America. Spiritually, Babylon the Great.
Beautiful.
So, Malak, I know you got an opening. You get yours, and then we'll get the clips that shoot up here.
Right. Definitely. Going into the title and, this cruel Lord. Okay. I'm going to go to the book of Job, the 27th chapter. And I'm going to just read from the 13th verse, right? And Job explains in the spirit. Okay, the spirit of prophecy was on Job when he was explaining what he had to go through with this cruel Lord. And also those who simply put, who were following the cruel Lord from his people. But anyway, so this is Job 27 and 13. Actually, I'm going to read from 12. It says, "Behold, all you yourselves," I'm reading it from the KJV. "Behold, all you yourselves have seen it. Why then are thus also vain?" Why are you vain about this? Right? See how the men of the Lord go through with this cruel Lord. And it says, verse 13, "This is the portion of a wicked man," right? "Of the Most High," it says God here, "and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty." Okay. And then it says, I'll just read verse 14 and 15 and shut it down there. It says, "If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword." Okay, going into his doom. Okay. "And his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread." Okay. And then finally it says, verse 15, I'll stop there. It says, "Those that remain of him shall be buried with death, and his widows shall not weep." Hey, that's straightforward, man. Going into the wicked. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I was just going to mention that bread. Can you read that part again?
Job 27. Job 27 and 15. 15? No, sorry, 14. 14. Job 27 and 14. "If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall be not satisfied with bread."
Yeah. So, eventually, the average American, starting with the Edomite, they're not gonna bite at what's it called, stimulus checks anymore. Because eventually, well, as is happening now, this devil, right, and his system of governance is being exposed as being corrupt. And even you Edomites that so-called elected, the cruel lord DJ Trump. You're the average American is trying to find out that this man doesn't give a shit about them. Right? So now bread is not going to satisfy the American people. Okay, what they're going to want is this man out of office eventually, right? Because we believe he is the cruel lord that Isaiah 19 talks about.
Beautiful. Yeah, and that's his bread real quick on all levels, man. His doctrines, everything like that. These people are finding out we went to Mars and all this lies and all. It's just it's falling apart. Anyway, that's it. I want to say that.
Con. All right, so I got this clip here. The first clip. Let's commercial go by. And this is fair use, fair use, fair use. None of us are making any money from this video. It's just for educational purposes only. And we do not claim any ownership rights of this video. So it's fair use, fair use, fair use. Now, this clip here, it says, prepare for April 2nd, what the launch of new aggressive tariffs regime means for you. Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to follow the link in the description below to become a subscriber at worldaffairsandcontext.com, where you will find more content and new exclusive projects that I will be launching soon. April the 2nd has been announced as America's Liberation Day. April the 2nd was picked for a reason, in case you're wondering. Reportedly, it was specifically selected to avoid April Fool's Day. So on April the 2nd, a new tariff regime goes into effect.
Effect. Is it truly reciprocal? Are there some countries that might get a break or some sectors that might get a break?
Well, I may give a lot of countries breaks, but it's reciprocal, but we might be even nicer than that. We've been very nice to a lot of countries for a long time, but I call it Liberation Day. April 2nd is Liberation Day. But today, as you know, we did something with respect to Venezuela. You heard about that, and that will be quite important. We'll be announcing some additional tariffs over the next few days, having to do with automobiles, cars, and having also to do a little bit with lumber down the road, lumber and chips. We're going to get all those chip companies coming back. They're already coming back without even doing it. So it's.
You see how he mentioned the chip companies. So all roads lead to the MOTB. All right. Ultimately, all this is going to lead to the MOTB.
It's been very good, but we'll be announcing some others. But for the most part, April 2nd will be a big day.
With that, let's discuss what you need to know about the new policies. The new tariffs include a 25% additional tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, and a 10% additional tariff on imports from China. Energy resources from Canada will have a 10% tariff. There will be additional reciprocal tariffs, as I discussed in my previous video in great detail. Those have not been formally announced just yet, since the plan changed several times over the course of the past several weeks. Also, the United States will include a 25% tariff on all countries that import oil from Venezuela. Additionally, I discussed this specific policy.
Which is huge, because Venezuela is it's number one country for oil reserves. So a lot of countries, trade with Venezuela and buy oil from Venezuela. So now these countries are going to have to deal with a 25% tariff in regards to getting oil. So this goes to show you that you can't run from the Lord's judgment. A lot of you people think you can, I'm going to move here, I'm going to move there, and you don't understand that all these countries work together. They import and export from one another. So Trump putting a 25% tariff on oil from Venezuela is going to affect a lot of things. You go and look up how many things are made, come from oil.
That's right.
Well,
funny you said that. The elder posted in the chat today about chewing gum. And chewing gum is basically a byproduct of petroleum, like plastic. So, and everybody, like, who doesn't eat gum? Give it to your kids, and you're chewing in actually a byproduct of petroleum, right? So this is how evil this man is, man.
God, that's crazy.
Wow.
Policy in great detail. several days ago in a separate episode here on my channel. So it is fair to be concerned because the global economy is very interconnected. Availability of goods imported from foreign countries directly depends on the trade policies of our state. When the cost of importing those products actually increases, whether it is due to supply chain disruptions or due to tariffs, US companies must pay more to ship those goods to you. To stay profitable, these companies are likely to pass those costs on to consumers by raising prices. Yale University's budget lab reports that increasing tariffs on
your Walmarts, your major food chain stores, basically everything, all right, that receive imports are going to make you, the consumer that goes to that store to buy, pay the 25% tax. That's not different. That's no different than income tax. The government taxed the people, all right, to pay off their debt to a private bank. That's the whole idea of an income tax. So the same idea, the same scheme is being done through these tariffs.
On China, Canada, and Mexico will result in an average American family paying anywhere between $1,600 to $2,000 more for the same exact products this year.
So it's about to get serious, man.
America's gross domestic.
A lot of you Americans that are in the spirit of mirth. Hey, man, you're about to lose sleep. You're about to lose sleep thinking about how you can pay for this, how you can pay for that. You're going to be setting up your prayers to Jesus Christ. It's not going to help you. I get this here in 2nd Ezra 6 and 12. I got it in the GNT. It reads, on that earlier night, you showed me some, and this is Ezra talking to the angel, Uriel, one of the 7 archangels, or 4 archangels. On that earlier night, you showed me some of the signs of the end. Now, please show me the rest. Stand up, he said, and you will hear a very loud voice. If the place where you are standing is violently shaken while the voice is speaking, don't be afraid. The message will be about the end of the world, and the foundations of the world will understand that the voice is speaking about them, right? So that voice in the modern, that would be speaking, right, in the end of this man's empire, this man's kingdom, would be the prophets. All right, and these prophecies that the prophets are speaking are going to become so clear that people are going to know that this is talking about them. Okay, so the voice is speaking about them. They will tremble and quake because they know that they will undergo a change when the end comes.
That's right.
Right? There's no more making America great again, man. that was a what's it called? A cunning fable, just to get you people hooked to this guy. So verse 17, it says, when he said this, I stood up and listened. I heard a voice that sounded like a roaring river. It said, the time is near when I will come to judge the people living on the earth. I will punish those who have hurt others with their injustice. Jerusalem's humiliation will come to an end. And that's talking about the elect. Because the rest of you Israelites that don't believe and you want to believe in Jesus Christ or in any other God, you're going to get caught up in that shame. So the 2/3 or the elect won't be put to shame in that day. And this age, which is about to pass away, will have the final seal put on it. Then I will give the following signs. The books will be open across the sky for all to see, and that represents his truth going out. This devil is being exposed. Knowledge is readily available. The truth is readily available. You just have to have the mind to go search for it. Which the majority of you people are dead. You don't have the mind to search for the truth.
That's right. And it's like
yeah, go ahead.
It says, the truth shall be open across the sky. That's via the internet.
Con.
Right? So this is what we've been broadcasting. As you see, IOIC, they were in Kenya right, preaching white Jesus, and they got stoned, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Kahala Yahweh Shimei Shai.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying that Yahushai is a so-called black man. Well, they were saying Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And them Kenyans throw rocks at them and tear gas, like some smoke bombs, man.
God.
So you see, the Most High
Yeah.
didn't put us in arm's danger. Like, you know, you come to the water via the internet, man, and if it resonates with you, you learn and you go in
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
There's
That's
people in
right.
the places, man.
That's right.
Right.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Verse 21, it says, children only a year old will speak. Pregnant women will give birth after only 3 or 4 months. And
that's literal, right? You
Yeah.
have, you know, women bringing forth premature babies, but also
right.
in the spirit, the children referring to us. You know, these brothers was just coming in and speaking on the highways and byways and hedges because they've been risen up to a level where they can speak on the scriptures, right? Very young brothers come in and say, "Hey," and you're like, "Hey, this brother's, you know, he knows something," right? So it's also literal and spiritual, right? But you do see these women bringing forth untimely babies, right?
Yeah.
Because Esau's putting things to induce the pregnancy, and you have these, like, you can't say the word, the R word,
Yeah.
right? Or mentally challenged is a better word,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was what's happening right now, you know.
And their premature babies will live and run about. YNs.
There you go.
Wow. Planted fields will suddenly become bare.
So
And
America
yep.
was this place, you know, with milk and honeys, you know.
Exactly.
Everything was here, you know. Your 3 spades of gold, right? Now you have Hudson Bay that's been around since the 1600s. It's claiming bankruptcy, right? You know, and that's only, and that's an anchor store. Like, if that one goes out, man, what can't?
Yeah, exactly.
So to show you that the Lord's word has to be fulfilled, and the Lord's word is true.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And it says, and full barns will suddenly become empty. Then the trumpet will sound, and you know, those full barns, you know, it's twofold, not just the grocery stores, but also your bank accounts. Those are going to get very thin, and there's going to be a lack of access to foods, man. So it says, then the trumpet will sound, and the sudden terror will grip the heart of everyone when they hear it.
And the trumpet is going to the prophets.
That's right.
That's right. You know, we're saying that certain sound, right? That might sound uncertain to you, like you're hoping it's not true, but
exactly.
You know, but this word is going through, man. Nothing can stop it. You know, and that's why, you know, we are oppressed, and that's why we're sighing and crying, and it shows our wisdom that we're wise, because you know, Bible says, surely oppression makes a wise man mad. So you know, if you don't think you're oppressed, you're showing that you lack wisdom. All right. And you want this place to go on as long as you're okay, right? Individually, but we're speaking for the elect's sake, right? And the 1/3, right? And the 144,000 that sigh and that cry, man, for all the abominations that's done here in the earth.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Yep. And it says, verse 24. I'll read to 25. Friends will fight like enemies, and the earth and its people will be terrified.
Isn't that what's going on in the news?
Yeah.
Doug Ford saying, "Hey, we're friends. You know, American people are friends, and you know, we should come together." And
right. Yeah.
and Trump ain't, you know, is not on the same page, right? Trump is saying, "Listen, man, I'm for them small hatters, right? I'm being controlled. It's evident he's being controlled because prior to him coming into power, he was saying something different."
That's right.
So the Most High says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So that cruel Lord, right, as the title is outlined, right, we're hoping it's Trump because he seems to be like that's the road he's walking on, the road of truth, right? Draconian measures is gonna be put in place.
Con.
Right.
Con. And it says rivers will stop flowing and stand still for 3 hours. Yep, and those rivers represent the truth going out. So the Lord, you're not going to hear this truth very soon. You're not going to hear this truth, man. And that's where the majority of you that really was faking it and wasn't taking the words of the Lord seriously, you're going to be put to shame in that day, because all you're going to have is regret in your mind, running through your mind. I should have did this. I should have listened. Where can I find these guys? And you're not going to find them. Okay, and if you find them, you're not going to get the truth that you want to hear. So it says, and the reason why that is because this is a grace period. There's a time limit to receiving grace, and we're reaching the end of that. So verse 25, it says, those who survive all these things that I have predicted will be rescued when I bring an end to this world that I created.
That's right.
And it's via them chariots, man.
That's right.
Right. This is what our hope is in. Right. Our hope is to be taken up, right, with our Lord Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
Right. And be exempted from what's righteous. Like whatever happens, whatever the Lord sanctions space to, doesn't matter how bad you might think it is, it's righteous, man. Once the Lord revealed to us why he's doing what he's doing, we're gonna say, oh Lord, you're patient. You're long suffering because it was us long time ago, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Lermont, can you go back to the precept, the last one you just read?
Yep. What verse?
Yes, the last one. I think it's 25, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It says, those who survive all these things that I have predicted, which is all these prophecies that are about to fulfill, the nuclear missile, all those wars, with the Eastern countries. It reads, I have predicted will be rescued, and that's speaking about the elect. I will bring to an end this world that I created. So just for the people who are watching, just to let them know, the Most High is not speaking about destroying the world to where there's no world left. The world will live on forever. About the rulership of Esau Edom, just to be clear, so you people can understand.
That's right. Beautiful.
Quick precept, all right, going into simply put the who is going to be rescued and how we are admonished. So this is Revelation 3:10, right, in the time in which we live in. Just going along with, because that guy, the video before that you played, he mentioned about the chip, right, and all the prophecies leads down to that road, right. So Revelation 3:10. Oh, I thought I had it up. Salakia. Let me just get it and just read it properly.
I can get it for you now.
Yeah, Baba Kashat. Yeah. Tawada. Yeah, can you get it for me? Revelation 3:10.
Yeah.
And 11, and that's it. Read.
So 3 and 10.
Yeah. And 11.
All right. So this is NLT or KJV. Which one you want?
Oh, KJV is fine.
Okay. This is Revelation 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Beautiful. So all those prophecies that was just read in regards to the destruction of the wicked, right? And I believe verse 25 that you just went into talks about how the Lord is going to get the elect through, right? And ultimately, it's that great deliverance in his chariots, right? But prior to that, he's going to prepare them. They're going to look a certain way. His glory is going to be in their midst. The Lord's glory. Continue.
Yeah, and they're not going to take the MOTB. You got to mention that because the scriptures say the time of testing. So speaking to that, we have to, the mindset has to be that the only way to salvation is through the evils that are coming on this earth, that are coming upon, this man's kingdom. But that's why the prophets, the Most High is sending the prophets right now in the time of grace, so you can receive what you're supposed to receive and understanding, and ultimately, so you can build your faith. Because that's all we're gonna have. You're gonna have your faith, and you're gonna have wisdom. Wisdom is your ability to be obedient to the Spirit.
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that
Right.
no man take thy crown."
That's right. Beautiful. So simply put, this thing, as we can clearly see, man, how fast this month went, and it seems like, not seems like, it is happening, all right, in regards to the truth, his eternal truth, and also his deliverance. It's going to be very sudden. And also that word fast is very important. It's going into a gift of the Spirit, all right, and it just simply means firmly fixed, okay, and constant in spirit and in truth. The spirit of prophecy will be upon the Lord's elect. He's going to give them that, and they're going to be firm and steadfast and constant, fortified in the truths of the scriptures, that of the Spirit, and strong. That's it.
Yep. Stick to the truth, man. Hold on to what's been taught.
That's right.
That's it on that, right?
On that.
Okay.
With these tariffs factored in, it is difficult to predict just how challenging things may become for an average US consumer as prices rise. And availability of products might actually be limited if imports are scaled back, and a decline in demand and business activity may further slow the economy. So as you can see, there is a very strong link between all of these factors. That is definitely something to be aware of as Liberation Day is upon us. During the most recent press conference, Fed Chair Jerome Powell commented on the expected effect of tariffs. And even though Powell has lost a portion of his credibility as he tried to assure us for years that inflation is transitory, he did say something that I would agree with. He said, "I do think with the arrival of the tariff inflation, further progress on fighting inflation may be delayed." One doesn't really need a degree in economics to see that any progress on inflation is now highly, highly questionable. Despite Liberation Day being quite...
In terms of prophecy, that's no balm for her pain. Okay. Isaiah or Jeremiah 51:7. I'll just read down to 11 in the NLT. It says, "Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hands, Yahweh's hands, a cup that made the whole earth drunk." Right? The nations drank Babylon's wine, the philosophy, the mindset of the rulers of Babylon. Okay, America. They're all in cahoots with the other kings of these various nations. You can read Psalms 83. It gives you a whole list of them. It says, and Psalms 2 as well. It says, "And it drove them all mad. But suddenly Babylon," and that's, mentally mad and literal. They're pissed off. "But suddenly Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her, give her medicine," right? So this lady mentioned that Senator Powell was saying that there is no hope, or there's a lack of hope in terms of progressiveness in inflation. It's not going to get better. There is going to be no progressiveness in inflation, because this is what the prophecy said. It says, "But suddenly Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her, give her medicine." So come up with a solution for inflation. Perhaps she can be healed. So go ahead. Try to come up with something and see if it works. The Most High is going to turn that around and put you to shame.
That's right.
Verse 9, it says, "We would have helped her if we could. But nothing can save her now. Let her go, abandon her." And this is why you're seeing all these nations are cutting ties now. Right? They're cutting ties with Babylon, with America. "Return now to your own land, for her punishments reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured."
Right.
The Lord, yeah. You gonna say something?
No, I'm saying, yeah.
Okay, come. Verse 10, it says, "The Lord Yahweh has vindicated us. Come, let us announce in Jerusalem." That's the elect. All right, the prophets. We're announcing this in Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place. Everything the Lord Yahweh, our power, has done. See, so we're making it known that the Most High Yahweh, all right, and His Son Yahweh Shai are the ones behind these events, okay, that are playing on earth. Sharpen the arrows, lift up the shields, for the Lord Yahweh has inspired the kings of the Medes to march against Babylon and destroy her. And that's what all these tariffs and the civil war that's coming, the MOTB, is all going to lead to the Medes, being the Russians, all right, and basically shooting nukes at America. And other countries too. China will get involved. Yep. It says to march against Babylon and destroy her. This is his vengeance against those who desecrate his temple. Okay.
Get a quick present about picture.
That's enough. Go ahead.
Going into the topic, Egypt, modern America 2.0. This is the book of Isaiah 19, 2 and the GNT, and I read from 2 to 4. And read, the Lord Yahweh says, I will stir up the civil war in Egypt and turn brother against brother and neighbor against brother. What's going on right now within America and Esau against Esau and these other nations. Rival cities will fight each other. The rival kings will struggle for power. You got America, you got Iran, you got Russia, who has the more power, weapons, nuclear weapons.
And you know what, as well, too, like you mentioned, you're reading NLT, right? And it mentioned GNT. So it mentioned civil war. So, these Edomites, the scriptures say that if Esau be against Esau, his kingdom shall not stand. So these Edomites, man, you're being played through this man's political system, the left-right paradigm, right? You got the Democrats and the Republicans, and both sides you got Edomites, and it's only the leaders of each political party that actually knows what's going on. The rest of the people, they actually are buying into the madness, all right, that their leaders are basically presenting to them. They're drinking off that wine. So you got Edomites that are houses that are divided because one loves Trump and the other one hates Trump.
That's right. Verse 3, I am going to frustrate the plans of the Egyptians and destroy their morals. They will ask their idols to help them, and they will go and consult mediums and ask the spirits of the dead for advice. Going into Ephesians 6:12, we don't against what's the memory?
Yeah.
For the wrestle no against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Right? They go and conduct this like a witchcraft. That they do rituals. Verse 4, that's one. I will hand the Egyptians over to Tehran, to a cruel king who will rule them. I, the Lord Yahweh, might have spoken.
And get us Psalms 40. Since you brought up that cruel king.
Psalms 40 and
4, verse 4.
Oh yeah, Psalms 40 and 4, and read, blessed is the man that maketh the Lord Yahweh his trust.
All right. So go in the word trust.
Yeah.
Blue there.
The word trust, it means
Strong's H 4009.
Which means trust, confidence, act of confiding, object, confidence.
That's the word. That's the word trust.
Yeah.
So in the strong info is it says properly a refuge, right? So a refuge has elect men, hopeful elect men, right, is in Yahweh Shem Yoshai, right? It also says our security and our assurance, confidence, hope, right? So you're going to see the 2/3 would be contrary to this and this mindset, right?
Right.
Right.
So our hope and our assured in Yahweh Shem Yoshai.
Right.
Keep reading.
And respected, not the proud.
All right, so going that word the proud, and go down to the Hebrew Chaldean lexicon.
Strong's H 7295. Rahav.
Oh, just to behave proudly, act stormily, arrogant.
See, so nobody is as arrogant as Trump, right? Nobody's, everything is the best of everything, the best you've seen, and everything's just, that's how he talks.
Yeah.
He's always accentuating how good and proud. Nothing better than I do it. I do best. The best I do it. No one does better than me.
Right.
Right. But it also says in the Hebrew Chaldean lexicon, it says proud, fierce. Right. So that's the word I wanted to bring out. Yes, fierce, man. And even in the biblical usage, the word defiant is there. So when I define defiant, it says showing defiance and resistant, right? Pugnacious, belligerent, hostile, right? Contentious, rebellious, right? So all those characteristics will go alongside and describe you Edomites, men, mainly these so-called white men, right? Self-proclaimed, but we speak about the true Lord right now. But you're all the same, man.
And it reads, "No such as turn aside to lies."
That's right. Okay. Yeah, that's on that.
Con.
Go
A little bit more on this. We get the next clip.
Celebratory in its name, recent polls show that Americans are not really excited about the U.S. economy becoming liberated. The Conference Board, a nonpartisan research group that surveys Americans monthly on how the economy is doing, reports that consumer confidence has slipped to its lowest level since January of 2021. As confidence reading declined, consumers' expectations dropped, reaching their lowest level in 12 years. Meaning,
so the spirit of Egypt is dwindling. Is dwindling. People are losing confidence in, the government, right? Because they're finding out that this cruel Lord is cruel. He doesn't care about his own people. He just cares about the people he works for. Okay, he's a puppet in the end of the day.
Add the Isaiah 19 for you.
Yeah, con.
So Isaiah 19. Let's go to point and 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof.
Con.
And thou will destroy the counsel thereof.
Con.
And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirit and to the wizards.
Con. And it's funny, man, because you average Americans are going to be doing that. You're going to be calling on Jesus and Allah and whoever you believe in, but so is your cruel Lord. He's going to be there. They're going to be trying to get access to these left-hand side demons, right? The left-hand side spirits. When you read Isaiah 47, right? Go, raise up your prognosticators and your enchanters and your sorcerers and see if you're going to receive any help. And they're not going to receive help. It's going to be a beautiful time, man. It's going to be a beautiful time.
Yeah, if you hear what he says about the Muslims, Baba Kashar, I'm chuckling because if you hear him speak about them, they're not bad people. It's just there's just some radicals in there, and there's nothing wrong with religion. So yeah, he will be right beside you, conjuring up those demons. Just saying, in Einstein. Anyway, go ahead, brother.
During the 2019 health crisis, consumers were far more optimistic about the U.S. economy than they are right now. As a quick and easy example, Americans are now panicking because car prices.
And you notice how this woman, just real quick, you know how this Edomite woman, she said health crisis. She couldn't even say COVID-19, you know? She had to say the 2019 health crisis.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that, though. Wow. Hey, and Shalom, Aki, y'all bashim al shabakatha. Shalom.
Are expected to surge once these tariffs go into effect. In the United States, you really need a car to get around, and it is viewed as a necessity, not exactly a form of luxury. According to Reuters, Cox Automotive projects the tariffs could add $3,000 to $6,000 to vehicle costs. Although the tariffs are aimed at boosting U.S. manufacturing by stirring buyers to American-made cars, automobiles built in the United States factories will still be hit with tariffs. That's because there's no such thing as an all-American car.
So there's no such thing as an all-American car. You know, as she goes into, all 10.2 million cars built in U.S. factories last year were built with a significant number of imported parts, mainly from Canada and Mexico. Yo, you Americans are about to feel it. Hey, and we're gonna feel it too over here in Canada. But you know, because we're right there. We're right there. But the beautiful thing is, everybody's gonna feel it, but a small amount of people are gonna have hope at the end of, a light at the end of that tunnel, and that's the elect. So that's why they're gonna be able to be carried through it without being touched, without being burnt up.
0.2 million cars built in the U.S. factories last year were built with a significant number of imported parts, mainly from Canada and Mexico. The average domestic content is conservatively estimated at only 50% and is likely closer to 40%, said a fact sheet that was published by the Trump administration. Thus, an American car that costs $40,000 to build could be hit with $5,000 in tariffs because half of its parts come from other countries.
Right. So you got to think, you think these companies that build these cars are going to pay up $5,000 extra on top of what they're paying to get them, built and exported? No. So if they don't want to pay them, guess what? There's no import of those parts, which means there's less cars. So everything's going to come to a stop. It's going to come to a stop, man. It's going to be a hot summer. This next clip here,
the cost will pass over to the consumer. The rise in price isn't passed on to the consumers.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, con, exactly. So it says here, this is the next clip. It says the Trump administration tells Americans, the cruel Lord, right? Stop expecting cheap products. Inflation is here to stay. I love this guy. So quit your belly aching. All right, we're gonna go through it.
Do you know what apple cider vinegar does to your liver? Watch this. This one organ can make a woman's belly big and...
Access to cheap goods is not the essence of the American dream.
Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, is giving speeches in which he tells Americans to stop wanting cheap goods because the Trump administration knows that Trump's tariffs are going to result in an increase in inflation because the U.S. imports so many goods. So the cost of consumer goods at Walmart is going to go up. And the Trump administration is saying, well, stop complaining. That's not what the American dream is about. Now, in a second, I'm going to respond to this and talk about why it's completely absurd that Scott Bessent is saying this. But first of all, I want to talk about who Scott Bessent is. Do you know who he is? He is a billionaire hedge fund manager. So Trump claims that he's going to help working class Americans. In order to oversee U.S. economic policy at the Treasury, he appoints a billionaire from Wall Street. And what's so funny about this in a kind of twisted way is that Scott Bessent started his career working for George Soros, the billionaire investor who's a major funder of the Democratic Party. And
let me get this precept real quick because this is a good precept that the elder put up here in GMS Pinsa Howard. This is Revelation 18 and 11, and it says, and he put here you could read to 20, but I'm assuming this is just verse 11 and 12. So it says, New Living Translation, NLT, the merchants of the world will weep and mourn for her, right? The her being America. For there is no one left to buy their goods. That's right, because of tariffs. And no one's gonna want to buy anything or export anything to America if it's gonna cause them 25% interest or taxes on those goods. Okay. She bought great quantities of gold, silver, jewels, and you didn't put the rest here, but you could read the rest of it for yourself. Read the rest of it for yourself. This one's a good precept too. Habakkuk 2:6, shall not all these take up a parable against him? Right. And not him, it's that cruel Lord. That's what you're seeing. These nations, even the BRICS nations, man, they just made a major move on making, they're basically putting together a whole new payment system that would basically exclude the dollar being involved in their internal affairs between the countries that are involved. Right, which will basically bring a major blow to the American dollar. Okay, so it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, right? And say, woe to him that increases that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that's going to that debt, right? America's full of debt because it's full of what's it called, false balances when it comes to wages, when it comes to money. Okay, the whole idea of America is it's a false sense of reality.
That's right.
Even the finances.
Finances. Fugazi.
That's right.
Can you get Micah Toon for real quick? And
the
NLT.
Oh.
Micah Toon for it reads, in that day your enemies will make fun of you by singing. Right. And who's the biggest enemy of this Babylonian Empire?
That's
right.
Awful
Elect, man.
That's right. That's right.
We're laughing.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Singing the song of despair about you. Right. We are finished, completely ruined. Yahweh by Shimeshai has confiscated our land, taking it from us. He has given our fields to those who betrayed us, and that's well, we're the new landlords, right? Yeah. So no one's gonna inherit this land. This land won't be inhabited after Moses is done with it, man.
That's right. That's right. Yep. LT be going in sometimes. Some precepts.
God.
He's like the main boogeyman, the main villain of the Republican Party. In fact, during his first term as president, back in 2018, Trump claimed that Soros was funding protesters to go out and protest against Trump. And then as Trump was campaigning for president in 2023, his official campaign published an email with a graphic.
And notice that every time the prophets, we bring out, we expose this devil, who's at the forefront of who we're using to expose him? His own people, this devil. So that shows you, man, the scriptures are speaking, man. This man is divided, right? And, as the scriptures say, his children, so how does it go again? Their children shall be upset about what their forefathers did.
So inherited lies, that one?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good one too. They inherit lies. Yeah, actually, that's perfect to what I'm saying, because it's exactly what happened to the American people.
God.
You inherited lies. And now you're finding out that they're lies, but it's just too late.
A meme showing Soros over the White House as the puppet master controlling Joe Biden. But then Trump chose one of Soros's close allies, the billionaire hedge fund manager, Scott Bessent, to be his Secretary of the Treasury. I mean, this shows how these billionaire oligarchs, they're all friends with each other. And politically, they'll blame other billionaires and say that they're funding my opposition and protesters, but at the end of the day, they're all part of that club. They're in the billionaire oligarch club, and they make economic policy on behalf of each other, not on behalf of the majority of working class people. So this brings me back to the speech that Treasury Secretary Bessent gave to the Economic Club of New York in March. This is the meeting of wealthy elites, and in his speech, Bessent said this:
access to cheap goods is not the essence of the American dream. The American dream is rooted in the concept that any citizen can achieve prosperity, upward mobility, and economic security.
Now, in a moment here, I'll respond to this talking point of the so-called American dream, which is a myth. It doesn't exist. But Besant is trying to push this idea that the American dream does not rely on cheap access to consumer goods. What is he talking about? What he's acknowledging is that the Trump administration's tariffs are going to result in a massive increase in the cost of consumer goods in the US because they're largely imported from foreign countries. What this is all really about is that the US economy is in the process of trying to decouple from China. Wages for average working people in the US were largely stagnant since the 1970s. And this is despite the fact that there's been a massive increase in productivity in this time period, which is largely due to new technologies, and yet real wages were stagnant in that same period. So the reason that people did not completely rebel and have a revolution is because while their wages were stagnant, at the same time, the cost of consumer goods fell, especially for advanced technologies. And why is that? Because those goods were produced in other countries, especially in China, which became the factory of the world's largest manufacturing power. So as real US wages were stagnant, costs of consumer goods like TVs and toys and cell phones, they plummeted. They're much more affordable today, largely because of China. And also a few other Southeast Asian economies. Vietnam has become a major hub for producing technology. But the US deindustrialized. These products were designed by US big tech corporations, but manufactured abroad. Meanwhile, as consumer goods saw deflation in the US, we saw massive inflation in the costs of services like healthcare, like college tuition, education, like childcare, and also food and housing. Those are the kinds of things that could not be produced in China and then exported to the US. So it's because of China largely that there was deflation in consumer goods. But meanwhile, in the US, as the rich got richer and richer and they bought up the houses, and as private universities massively increased the cost of tuition, much more than inflation, and as privatized for-profit health companies and health insurance companies massively increased the cost of healthcare, average working people in the US have less and less disposable income that actually can go to spend on living a comfortable life because they're spending so much on healthcare, education, housing, and food. And now what is the Trump administration saying? They're saying that the costs of consumer goods are also going to increase. So all of those cheap goods you got from China throughout this era when your wages were stagnant, well, we're going to make those goods even more expensive through tariffs. This is why the billionaire Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the American dream is not about
the future of your business is here. With Wix, you get advanced AI
access to cheap goods. But as I said, even the idea of the so-called American dream is a myth. Let's look at some studies here.
Right. So he broke it down. It's a myth, man. It's a myth. It's not going to work out. But one thing I want to touch up on is, how he mentioned, your leaders, man, your government have basically consolidated the wealth of your beloved country into their own hands, right? And basically left you, you Americans out to dry and wither away. Okay, so, and how they do that? They do it through their policies, through their law, right? All these laws that they pass, these bills that they pass, as he mentioned, are there to really serve the benefit of the oligarchy, to the rich.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Isaiah 10 and 1 in the NLT.
Beautiful.
It says, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people, right? And Esau makes the most money off of Jake. He makes money off of his own people, but the most money, all right, that he makes is off of Jake. So it says, they prey on widows, they take advantage of orphans. What will you do when I punish you? When I send disaster upon you from a distant land. Exactly. So let's see these billionaires save themselves from missiles through their money, so-called money. Some of them will be saved. Maybe a lot of them will be saved because they got to go into slavery, but a lot of them are going to die as well.
That's right.
So it says, to whom will you turn for help? Where will your treasures be safe? Exactly. You will stumble along as prisoners or lie among the dead. But even the Lord Yahweh's anger will not be satisfied. his fist is still poised to strike. So it's only going to get worse. Hence the title. The American Nightmare approaches is getting greater and greater. It's going to be darker and darker. What sorrow awaits
Syria?
No, I just want to know if that's all I wanted. All I got. Oh yeah, last verse. What sorrow awaits Assyria, the rod of my anger? I will use it as a club to express my anger. And the modern day Assyrians are the Edomites, right? The modern day Assyria is America, right? So the king of the modern day Assyria is DJ Trump. So the Lord is using this man and the rest of and his masters that are above him, and all the other Edomites that are partnering with him. The Lord is using them as a club to express his anger throughout the whole earth, and especially on America.
I have Revelation 6:6 in the NLT.
Go ahead.
It says, "And I heard a voice from among the four living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay, and don't waste the olive oil and the wine." So their money is not going to be able to feed them anymore. What they used to buy with a week's pay, they won't be able to do that anymore. And you can see that right now in Canada. You go to work and you can't feed yourself. Right? You got to be finding. You have to find the cheapest thing to eat. These GMO foods, because you can't afford real food, right? So when shit hit the fan, when DJ Trump slapped them with that 25%, thing, we're gonna see that the money is gonna be, it's gonna wither away. It won't be useful anymore. Right?
And it's going to be funny too, because with Esau's witchcraft and his sorcery through money, people have gotten used to living in abundance, so they thrive and maneuver off of the desires of the flesh. Now, like you're saying, you have less money in your pocket, or more of your income is going towards just standard living, and now you don't have any money to basically keep up with your vices. You're right. So these people are going to bug out, like you said. They're going to bug out. They're going to go crazy, and they're going to have to make decisions like, okay, I can't eat this, or I have to cut back on this, and that's going to make them bug out, because they lived according to the flesh.
Right.
Oh man, go ahead, Doc.
So because a nigga can get 2 pizzas with 3 toppings for $19.99, a can of Coke, he sees this as mere foolishness, right? He thinks, "What are you guys talking about? There's a dealer right now at Wendy's,
Exactly. Yep.
Wow. The thing that's going to happen to them is the fact that they're not going to be able to pay rent anymore, because that's going to do, right? Because these landlords are not going to be they're not going to just sit back and take the loss. They're going to increase their rent, right? And because they increase their rent, all their money is going to go to that. And the $19.99 pizza with 3 toppings and a can of Coke, they're not going to be able to afford it anymore.
And all 3 of those toppings are pepperoni, salami, and pepperoni.
Abominable. Really good, because I made a point. Sickness of 16 and 21.
That's my undone.
I'm done.
Okay, come.
Ashrak.
You're good, brother. You're good.
Sickness of 16 and 21. Behold, victuals should be so cheap upon the earth,
that's the spirit.
that they think of themselves to be in good case.
That's right.
And even they should evils grow up on earth, sore famine and great confusion.
Yeah, it's the spirit. Yo, you having the GNT?
No.
Okay. I can get in the GNT because I have it queued down for verse 14 to 22. You read 21, right?
Yes.
Okay. Second Ezra 16 and 14, and then GNT. And brothers, feel free to jump in if Spirit jumps on you. So it says Second Ezra 16 and 14 in GNT. He has already sent out his disasters towards the earth, and they will not miss their target. The fire has been lit, and it cannot be put. Yep.
Not going into missiles, right? We got always pointed out, right? Because you knuckleheads Christians, so hard headed, we gotta keep letting you know what this disaster entails, right? That hellfire, that those Satan, right, is basically a code word for missiles, man. But Russia wrote it on them. This Satan twos. Right?
Yeah.
Coming to a city near you.
That's right.
Yeah. It goes on to say, the fire has been lit, and it cannot be put out until it burns up the foundation of the earth.
So what else can do that?
Exactly.
Like clearly it's talking about something with a capability of this, of destroying like cities. Right?
Yeah. Countries too. Continents.
Yeah.
It says, verse 16, the disasters are on their way towards the earth, and like an arrow shot by a strong archer, they cannot be turned back.
That's right. And they won't break their ranks, according to the book of Joel. Right? You see, speaking of those horsemen, right? That goes hand in hand, side by side, in concert, right, with those precepts.
That's right. It says, I am doomed. I am doomed. Who will rescue me in those days?
And that's a righteous mindset to be in. We don't say we made it, right? So Ezra was in the same mindset, and Ezra's a righteous man. If he's saying, "Hey, I don't see no way out of this," right? That's the way we got to be humble and be submissive, and and praying to the Lord, but like, please, Lord,
expect miracles, man. Expect miracles. Know that we're gonna face dire straits, and we have to come to a dead end so the Lord can work a miracle. Everything we're going through is to glorify the name of the Heavenly Father and His Son. So we're being used as instruments to glorify the Heavenly Father's name. So we're going to be put in situations where the majority of the world will look at it and be like, "There's no way out of this. Like, I have to submit to this devil." But the Lord is going to bring a standard for the elect because they're going to maintain their faith. So it says, troubles will come and many people will groan. Famines, this is verse 16. Troubles will come and many people will groan. Famine will come and many will die. Wars will come and the world's powers will tremble. Disasters will come and everyone will be terrified. What will people do when these disasters come? Famine. These are the disasters that are coming. Famine, epidemics, troubles. And this is generic. You can have all kinds of different troubles. And suffering are sent to punish and correct people.
Correct.
And that's all people, because even Esau Edom needs correcting, because the man destroyed the earth, man.
He's the first on the list. Yep. That's right. But and you 2/3 Israelites, man, you're getting this as the hell that you're gonna be going through in Jacob's trouble is due to your lack of faith, and that's a willful lack of faith. Not even like the Most High deemed sent His prophets out to teach the word. You heard the truth, and you willfully scoffed at it, rebelled against it, and turned to Jesus Christ. Fuck. Says, but in spite of all this, they will not turn away from their sins.
Mm-hmm.
And this is beautiful because we just did a lesson yesterday on how when the Most High judged Pharaoh and the Egyptians and they were mourning the dead, it said that while they were mourning the dead, they forgot basically of the Most High's judgment and they went chasing after Israel again. But the Most High put the spirit on them to think like that so he can pronounce more judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these people not turning away from their sins is so the Most High will so the Most High can bring greater judgments. So it says they soon forget their punishment. The time is coming when food will be so cheap that people will think a time of peace and plenty has arrived. Right? And I'm not going to play it, but this guy went into an aspect of I forgot what he called it. But he basically brought out how in the 40s the younger generation, by the time they were in their 20s, were making as much as their parents. So people were doing good, right? And he went into the aspect of how when 2019 happened, our wages didn't change, but consumer goods prices went down. So people thought because the prices went down, but the wages didn't change, that they were in a good case. But the wages are really are they're shit or good depending on how much goods are. So once these goods become very expensive, as they're getting expensive, but the wages aren't going up, these people are gonna find out that they were never in a good case. It was all a lie.
Back into 2019, there was a lot of people buying houses, right?
Right.
There was like a booming on that.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, and now people are waiting upon Trump to see if they can buy a house.
No, what they did also, the house, it was skyrocketing the price.
Right.
So people went and bought at an elevated price, but now there's so much inventory at the houses, the prices went down. So you basically got ripped off.
Money. Yeah, you lost money.
Man.
That's right.
You know?
You didn't make nothing off your own property, so-called.
And then you have these pre-built, thinking that they're gonna have like Airbnbs or whatever. But the price, what you signed for, is not what you got to pay. The house is not worth what you paid for it 3 to 4 years ago.
That's right.
Con. Yep. So I'll read it again. Verse 21, and it says, I'll just read to 22. The time is coming when food will be so cheap that people will think a time of peace and plenty has arrived. But then disasters will spring up everywhere. Yeah, these tariffs, war, famine, and great confusion.
Just want to jump in real quick. So it says here the time is coming when food will be so cheap. So we know that Killgate and all of them people, they want to buy up all the farmlands. They want to mass produce food in labs. They want you to eat lab grown meat. Those things are going to be cheap to entice people to jump into that MOTB system.
True.
No, that's already been done. That the lab grown meat, it's already they're blow the whistle on that KFC that people indulge in. That's what people have been eating this whole time. Right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the 3D printed meat that they want to do right now. There's a difference. They want to do 3D printing, where they use like a 3D system to print the food right in your house, where it's available to you right now. They have that technology right now. So those meats are going to be cheaper than the average meat in the store. They want to stop you from growing your own food. Animals, they're telling you that the cows are causing pollution, so to get rid of the cows, because they want to be in control of the produce, the veggies, and the meats, right? And when they control the food, they control the people. Now they can coerce you to say, listen, if you want to get this for a cheaper price, you have to take this chip. You have to take that. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. And you know what? Really, they already control the food and the monopoly on it, but it's more so of a psyop on the people because they want people to what's it called when you accept something? Comply. They want people to comply. You know, like you said, they're making the food that's poison cheaper and the food that's so-called real. It's not even real. It's just less poison than the one you're eating. More expensive, right? So then it's you're complying to your own death sentence, Basically, that's how the devil works. You shall not surely die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. So verse 21, it says, the time is coming. Oh, but I know what you're talking about, because with the KFC commercial.
Con.
But that went over a lot of people's heads. But yeah,
Con.
that's human meat, man. That's not even real meat.
Mhm.
The time is coming when food will be so cheap that people will think peace of plenty, of time of peace and plenty has arrived, but disasters will spring up everywhere. War, famine, and great confusion. Many people on the earth will starve to death.
Mhm.
And those who escape starvation will be killed in war.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
There's
serious.
different race wars, right? Literal war, because a lot of countries are enlisting their citizens, the men, well, women too, right,
Yeah.
to go fight. Like
Yeah.
that decree has been made known in, I think, France and Poland, and I think in America, you know, they're like giving people incentives to be a part of their armies.
Con.
Right?
Con.
Mhm.
It says, verse 22, last verse. Many people on earth will starve to death, and those who, sorry, verse 23. It says, their corpse will be thrown out like garbage, and there will be no one left to comfort the living.
Mhm.
The earth will be deserted and its cities demolished.
Yeah.
Not the
On
whole earth,
bombings.
but certain parts. Yep.
You know.
Okay, so I'll play the last bit of this not this clip here. But this clip, we're gonna skip ahead to 10 minutes.
Democrats with Biden and Harris, despite the fact that inflation was a global problem, not only a problem in the U.S. And, you know, Trump came in, and what has happened? Consumer price inflation continues to increase in the U.S. So Trump is not bringing down inflation. Now, the Wall Street Journal published a very important report that provides a glimpse into how the U.S. economy benefits the rich at the expense of everyone else. This article noted that the top 10% of richest Americans account for 49.7% of all spending in the economy. That is to say, half of all spending is the 10% richest people. And 3 decades ago, that figure was 36%.
So spending money, which is putting money in the economy, is what makes the economy good and run. So basically what's making the economy run is these rich people, the oligarchy. So that's why they make laws only for themselves. Because this place is only because they're the ones only spending money. But that's because they siphon all the money into their pockets.
It's now basically 50%. So over time, the U.S. economy depends more and more on rich people. And this article estimated that the spending of the top 10% of richest Americans accounts for nearly 1/3 of GDP. But instead of dealing with the root cause of these problems, which is growing inequality, the fact that rich oligarchs take up more and more wealth and don't pay taxes, and the government has been taken over by corporations and lobbying controls U.S. policy, it's a completely corrupt system. He claimed he was going to drain the swamp, but instead, Trump has deepened the corruption.
Welcome to Wallace Island. This isn't where the gig is. It is where the gig is. I'm literally playing to one guy.
Trump and his friends are making hundreds of millions of dollars off of the Trump meme coin, and they're exploiting their own supporters. They're giving a green light to bribery and money laundering. And while Trump is cutting taxes on the richest people in the U.S., he's scapegoating the poorest and most marginalized people. He's scapegoating immigrants and saying, your problems are not caused by the...
Yeah, which is you Jakes. You the majority of you Jakes, okay? Which you're not immigrants, but you know, Esau is really the immigrant, okay?
Billionaires I'm surrounded by who don't pay taxes. Your problems are caused by poor, undocumented immigrants, which, by the way, the entire U.S. economy relies on undocumented workers. So Trump wants to scapegoat people like immigrants and LGBT people for these economic problems caused by billionaires like he himself and his friends who are running the U.S. government. Meanwhile, there are more and more warning signs that the U.S. could soon be entering a recession.
Yeah, it will go into recession. This is my last piece I want to bring out concerning what he was bringing up on how, you know, the economy's wealth is consolidated into the hands of the oligarchy, the ruling class under, you know, the bankers. This is Psalms 50. And Psalms 50, and I will start at 16.
My American friend is on vacation. I want you.
So Psalms 50 and 16 in NLT, it reads, "But Yahweh, Bashim El-Shai, says to the wicked, why bother reciting my decrees and pretending to obey my covenant?" Right? Which is basically the scriptures, right? Because every president is sworn in on the Bible. It says, "For you refuse my discipline and treat my words like trash." Again, the laws. When you swear on the Bible, you swear yourself in on the Bible. You have to keep the laws of that book. Okay, and only the true disciples of the Lord are going to push to do that. So it says, verse 18, "When you see thieves, right, you approve of them, and you spend your time with adulterers," right? All these different technocrats. That's what they are. They're thieves and adulterers. It says, "Your mouth is filled with wickedness, and your tongue is full of lies."
That's right.
You sit around and slander your brother Jacob, your own mother's son. And again, it starts with Jacob, but these Edomites do the same thing to one another. Okay. "While you did all this, I remained silent, and you thought I didn't care, but now I will rebuke you, listing all my charges against you. Repent, all of you." Repent, all of you who forget me, and that's talking to you Israelites. Okay. Or I will tear you apart. And no one will help you. That's it. So the Lord said, listen, this is what I have pronounced for these devils and their wickedness and how they ruled not just the people in the country of America, but the whole earth. Right. I'm gonna have a serious judgment for them. So you Israelites, this is a time to repent. Starting with us. Hence why we're doing these lessons. And to the best of our abilities, we live a life that we hope is accepting of Yahweh Shai. And this is the time. So the Lord is going to bring a heavy judgment on the Lord, which is, DJ Trump. We believe to be DJ Trump, Babylon, and everybody that has hidden themselves in the shadow of Egypt, which is Babylon as well, America. That's it for me.
I got a quick percent of Bakusha. Going to Lisa, being revealed via the videos, via the scriptures, and to the right understanding. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8, and it reads, "Then the man of loveliness will be revealed by the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, who will kill him with the breath of his mouth, destroy him by the splendor of his coming." 9, this man will come to do the work of Satan. So Isa is being set up by the Heavenly Father to do this work, to continue until he gets the MOTB implemented. With counterfeit powers and signs and miracles going into the Neuralink, right?
Yep. MOTB, yep.
Verse 10, he will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that will save them. Verse 11, so Yahweh will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe this lie.
Beautiful. Any other precepts or statements before we close up?
Real quick, I'm just going to read it. I have it right here, holding it. The book of Job, right? Because this is going into simply put, man, his increase, man, his rulership is finished, and this is who he is. I read in Revelation 3 and 11, the role of the elect. So this is the role of the wicked. Again, in short, book of Job, Job 20 and 28, the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away the day of his wrath. verse 29, this is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, Yehovah Hashem Yahushai, and the heritage of appointed unto him by our power, Yehovah Hashem Yahushai. So yes, he is finished. His thing is finished. He's circling the drains.
That's right.
That's it.
God, beautiful, man. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. The Most High's elect, Yahweh or Yahweh Shai's elect. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruchakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and the bishops as well, who have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3 that sincerely believe. All right? Abba, Kwam Mashallah, and Shalom to the elect.
Shalom to the elect.